Welcome to the Bush League Home Mechanics course on how to change volume spacers on a Fox Shocks DPX2. So step one, we're going to go ahead, check our air pressure to ensure that we have a baseline if we want to start playing around. So I'm going to go ahead, check the air pressure. Once I have that, write it down somewhere. And then what we're going to do is take all the air out of the shock and unscrew the body. So this is the spacer kit that I'm using. It comes with a number of different spacers, as you can kind of tell in the bottom of the bag there. Reasons for putting these in: either you're too light and you want it to ramp, or perhaps you're a heavier guy like me with obviously a chiseled Greek physique and running the volume a little too high pressure wise, and you want a better mid feel to it. So once again, I'm going to take the air out of the shock and pull the body unscrewed off. So one of the things that also helps is to slow your rebound down for when you're putting the can back on. It won't push the shock part as quickly. So I'm just giving this a turn to the left, and you'll start to see a gap form right here, which means it's unthreading. So just keep going, and what I'll do is I'll actually zoom this in to get a better shot of that, so you can see that gap. So unthread, and I'm turning this counterclockwise for reference. So that is now off. You're able to slide the can down. Making sure not to push anything too far, but you'll see inside the shock. So I was right, there is a purple spacer in behind there. The key here is to notice that there is a O-ring on top of a spacer, and the volume spacer goes behind that. So what we want to do is pull that O-ring and the spacer back, remove the smallest volume spacer, and put in the correct one. With the kit that I got, you can see that it comes with 5 different spacers. For me, just being the weight that I am, I'm going right to the largest volume spacer, and I'm going to try to get as much ramp as I can and best mid control. Doesn't mean you have to, but that's where I'm going to start. So I'm going to go with the dark blue spacer and then work my way down from there. So I decided out of good judgment not to do the max right off the hop. It gives me at least wiggle room one way or the other. So I put in the light blue, which is, or I guess medium blue, which is still second or fourth largest spacer that they make. So now that's snapped in, as you can see here. So we're going to go ahead and slide the shock spacer back down, as well as the O-ring. So there it is. The O-rings are pushed down, the spacer's back in. This shock particularly, if I wanted 5 more millimeters of stroke, I could remove a black spacer behind that washer, but I'm going to keep this at 160 mils travel. So volume spacer in, everything's ready to go back together. And just like that, we've got a good sag point, roughly 30%, which is where I like to sit around. And lo and behold, the mid-stroke seems to be holding quite nicely. So I was able to drop about 30 psi out of the shock to where my new sag point is. So small bump should be a little bit better, and it should just, ramp up quite a bit nicer. So I think I've got a good start point for the next ride.